Hello, I'm Nayeli and welcome to my channel. I will show you how to make an envelope sleeve to go over an envelope with the height of 4.375 inches. This will be used to enhance the envelope. And all the elements used will be from Cricut Design Space. So make sure you like the video and subscribe to my channel. All items that are used in the video will be placed in the description box. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you how to make an envelope sleeve. So in order to enhance those envelopes, you can add embellishments to them. And one of the things that's really simple and easy to do is to create a sleeve to go over the envelope. So the one I'm going to show in this video is for a 4.375 inches high envelope. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you want to do is make sure you have a clean canvas, and then you want to go to shapes. So I'm going to go to shapes and select the square. So the square is going to be turned into a rectangle, and to do that you just go to the lower left corner, the lock, and you unlock it. The lock is in place to maintain proportions, but since I want it to be a rectangle, I have to make sure I click it and unlock it. So the size that I'm going to do, I need my width to be 1 inch, and you can make it as wide as you would like. And then the height that works perfect is going to be 9.5, and that's the overall. So once I do that, I just type in the size at the top menu where it has the width and the height. So I'm just going to move that over to the 0, 0 axis. So if you look at the top menu, it has position on the right side. It has an X and a Y axis. I'm just going to put that there because it makes this next part a little bit easier. I need to add the score lines. So the score lines are in place in order to score the paper, and so I can fold it. So I'm going to go back to shapes, go to line, and it comes in vertical. I want to turn it so it's horizontal. So I go and select the rotate icon, which is in the upper right corner of that line. So I'm going to do a left mouse and I'm going to hold it down and click, and then I'm going to hold shift down. See how it's maintaining like those degrees? I want it to be exactly at 90 degrees, and then I let go. And then the height, well, it shows this is the height because when it's vertical, that was the height, but now it's horizontal. It still has height on here. I'm going to change that to 1. So in the upper menu where it says size, I'm going to just change it to 1. The height says 1. Now I need to move this over to 2.5. So all I need to do is I can pick it up and drag it over to 2.5, or I can type it in. So it didn't quite get to 2.5 if you look at the position, my Y axis. So I can highlight it and type in 2.5 and tab over, and it accept it. Now I'm going to go over to my layers menu, select the score line again, and I'm going to duplicate because we need 2 because it folds over. So that one's selected, and this position needs to be at 7, so 7 inches. So again, that's 2.5 inches inward from the ends. So one at 2.5 inches and then one at 7 if we're looking on this grid. So I went ahead and I moved it by hand. I just dragged it over there, but then the position is just slightly under 7. So I'm going to go ahead and just type in 7 in the Y axis. All right. Now it's exactly where I want it to be. I'm going to do a left click, and I'm going to hold down that left, and then I get a window. I'm going to drag that window so it hits the rectangle as well as both score lines, so it selects all of those items. And I'm going to attach it. That's just to keep it together. And I physically just moved it by doing a left click and moving it to the center, because the foundation to the envelope sleeve is now done. Now I just need to design something cool to go in the middle. So I'm going to go to images, and I want to do maybe a rose. You can do a rose, a heart, whatever you want. You could do a lot of different items that's offered in Cricut Design Space, but I want to go with the rose. So all I need to do is type it in and then hit search, and then all these different roses come in. So the one that I found, I'm just going to scroll down, that worked really well with this project is right here. You just got to scroll in, and you kind of have to play with it to see what works for you. But this is the one that I want. It comes in pretty large, so all I need to do is scale it down. 3 inches, 2.5 to 3 inches is a good measurement I've like to use. So I'm just going to type it in, the width at the top. I'm going to type in 2.5 and then just tab over so it accepts it. And this is what it would look like right there and centered. So I'm going to do that and then duplicate. So if something goes funny, at least I have an extra one. So what I want to do is position it like in the center. So I'm going to do a click where it clicks and selects everything. Go up, top menu, it says align, and go to center. So it shifted and moved it, so now that it's exactly in the center. So that works. Okay, so now it's time to select the rectangle where it's attached. And at this point, I'm going to detach it. And that way I can focus just on the rectangle as well as the rose. So the first thing I'm going to do is select both. So I'm going to select only rectangle and the rose, and I'm going to weld it. Let's see, the weld came in not entirely bad, but I want to be able to see some of that rose. So let me go ahead and undo it. So that part won't work if I just go right into this and weld it in. So I'm going to have to make a little bit of adjustments. That's why I have the duplicate, because I'm going to do in one hand where, okay, so I can weld it, and then I'm going to slice and then basically weld again. It'll make sense once I show you. So the first part I'm going to do just like I showed you. I'm going to select these two, and then I'm going to weld it. All right, awesome. I'm going to duplicate it again because I'm going to need it one more time. So now I can put this over here and go to the layers menu on the right side and make sure that rose, the one that I just had, moves up to the top. So there's a few things you can do. It's selected now. I can go to arrange and send the front, and then it puts it in the front, which is great. Or I can go and just move it physically on the side. So now that that's at the top, I need to go in and slice it. So pretty much I need to deduct from down there and up there. So everything is selected. It should be centered. Let me make sure it's still centered. So I'm going to select that, align. Okay, now it's centered. Everything has shifted just right. I am going to select slice. All right, it made a little bit of a crazy look, which is perfectly fine. So I just need to start moving stuff out the way that it's sliced. That moved out the way, that's what I want. I'm going to undo that. I just want to show you that's the one that we actually want. So I'm going to click over here and then delete. I'm going to delete this one as well because I don't need it. This is going to come into play the other duplicate that I made. So now I need to select and go to contour. Now in the contour, you're going to have to zoom in and make sure it's showing. Okay, I need to get rid of all of these little pieces in here. So now what I do is just select them. You can do a drag and select as many, or you can select from the side, but I need to get rid of all of this. So yeah, it might be easier just to select on the right side since I kind of know everything that needs to be selected. And you just click. And this is just the way around some of these. Some it might be a little easier, but to get this beautiful rose, this is what I have to go to. So after that's done, I can close it. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. So now I take this new one and I move it over here. I need to make it slightly larger, so it's 2.5, so I make sure it overlaps. So I'm just going to do it just a little bit larger. That should work fine. Select both of those items, go up to align and center. So that's perfect. So they're both selected, and now I can select weld. Now that is going to be just right, except for these two parts. I wonder if I go to contour. What are these down here? Let me see what that does when I take that off. Perfect. So now when I go to create and make this, it'll be just right. I'm going to change the color of this so that to pink so you can see it a little bit better, because I need to know where are these score lines at now. So I'm going to take the weld result and go to arrange and send to back. And I have my, I think that's just right where I need them. My score lines. Yes, they still maintain. So now I need to just do a left drag and select both score lines and my new beautiful rose that's going to look nicely, and attach. So now that that has been done, this is what the rose is going to look like for an envelope sleeve. So just to look again, you have 1 inch to go. Now I can move it around. It's 1 inch for the actual band around it, and then it's 2.5 with the distance, a little bit over 2.5, so 2.517 the rose, and then 9.5 inches height. And the score lines are in place so it can fold and overlap. And when it's all set, you just go over to make it, and it fits nicely on a 12 by 12 mat. I can add maybe 2 more if I wanted to. I might be able to even squeeze in a 4th one. Perfect. I can get 4 on one 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So that's pretty neat. Or if you only have 8.5 by 11, you can actually use that as well. And you just go over to continue. It'll look for your machine, and once it finds it, you can cut and you're ready to go. Thank you so much, and I will show you the finished product. Okay, I'm going to put together some envelope sleeves. I just cut those on the Cricut Maker, and I made them completely in Design Space. So I have my adhesive I'm going to use, but first I need to bend where it's scored at. There we go. And I want the top to go over, just a personal preference, it really doesn't matter. And take my double-sided sticky tape and put it on the underside of the top. And I could peel it off and then put it together. Oops, let me pick a corner. And then I just put it down. Press it together, and then you got your envelope sleeve. So once you have your card in there, you can top it off with an envelope sleeve. And here's another one, little rose. A little bit extra pieces in there that I just need to take out. And again, bend it where it's scored at. And there we go. And all I need to do is cut off a piece of tape. And this is the top part to my rose, because I see the little bud. And again, I just want the top over the bottom. It's just a personal preference. And then I put it down here. And bam. There we go. And it slides right into the envelope. I have a nice little rose from the envelope sleeve, and here's the two I just made. Here's some other ones that I did. And if you want, you see how sometimes they move? You can apply a little bit of adhesive to this underside, and then it'll keep it in place. So when I'm ready to give those, I'll do that. Here's just some other ones. Here's the rose again, but a different foil background. Thank you for watching. All right. So once your card is ready, all you have to do is put it in the envelope, and then no more licking the envelope. Because guess what? I have a envelope sleeve. So I could just stick this right in here. And now it's ready to go. Thank you for watching. This is Naya Lee. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to my channel for more videos.